Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Climate, a webcast series from ecoAmerica, featuring dynamic discussions with local and national leaders offering diverse perspectives. Let's Talk Climate brings forth the latest thinking and best practices for building public support and political resolve for equitable climate solutions in the U.S. I'm Rebecca Rear, Director of the Climate for Health program at ecoAmerica, joining you just outside Washington, D.C. on Nacotchtank and Piscataway land. And today we're going to chat about Children's Environmental Health Day Proclamations as a tool for climate action and advocacy. I'm joined by Hannah Grose, Program Assistant with the Children's Environmental Health Network. Hi, Hannah. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to join Let's Talk Climate series and always happy to talk about opportunities to advocate for children in climate action. Children's Environmental Health Network are quartered in Washington, D.C., but I'm joining remotely today from my home in Annapolis, Maryland, historic home to the Susquehannock people.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here and excited to dive in. So let's just start at the top. What and when is Children's Environmental Health Day?
Of course. Children's Environmental Health Day, or CEHD for short, is a day dedicated to collectively increasing the visibility of children's environmental health issues while empowering individuals and organizations to take action on behalf of children nationwide. So really, it's a day for children's environmental health community to raise awareness of the issues, celebrate successes in the field, share about promising new initiatives, and discuss challenges on the road ahead. It's observed the second Thursday of each October.
Fantastic. And that's every year, second Thursday. So people can just hit that recurring calendar invitation now.
Absolutely.
That's great. And I know, for me personally, I got interested in children's environmental health when I did a fellowship at the EPA and learned that by setting regulation to protect the most vulnerable populations or populations that are susceptible to specific, exposures, that by setting those regulations that protect the most vulnerable, we're actually protecting everybody. So I know that theme comes through every Children's Environmental Health Day, and I'm grateful for CEHN's leadership on children's environmental health. And of course, climate change is often, or really always, a topic during Children's Environmental Health Day because children are particularly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. But of course, this also means that they are the beneficiaries of climate action. One of the tools that CEHN offers is a template for Children's Environmental Health Day Proclamations. Talk a little bit about what the proclamation is and how it can be a tool for climate action.
Absolutely. So each year, when I'm working on CEHD communications, I'm always amazed again and again by the fact that children under 5 are estimated to bear 88% of the burden of disease due to climate change. And with so many children's environmental health hazards, climate change also, the negative health impacts are disproportionately borne by children of color and those from low wealth communities. So you're absolutely right. Advocating for climate solutions is an important way to greatly improve children's health and even improve children's health equity. So proclamations are a useful tool in climate and children's health advocacy toolbox. A proclamation is a public demonstration of CEHD support from a mayor or a governor. So that acknowledges a commitment to children's access to clean air and water, safer food and products, and a stable climate. So this document then becomes a tool to hold local and state decision makers accountable as they consider policies that can drive climate and health solutions in the year to come.
So how can people find out if their city or state has a Children's Environmental Health Day proclamation? And if maybe there isn't one, how can people start the process of having their local leadership sign one?
Sure. So you can find out if a proclamation has been requested or granted in your city or state through the events and activities map at the bottom of the CEHD homepage. So that's cehd.org. And then if you'd like to get a proclamation request started, the Children's Environmental Health Network has put together a handy toolkit with sample proclamation language, reasoning, and an easy step-by-step guide. So you can also find that through the CEHD site.
And it's such a good way to get involved. I think, I have to say, when I used to do some lobbying work in a past life, actually in Annapolis, Maryland, where you are now, there was a time that I'd walk the halls and I'd talk about, some environmental legislation that was, being considered that had very clear public health outcomes. And sometimes I was met with open arms and sometimes there was robust discussion. But there was one time that we were, hosting kids at the Capitol, and the kids were there to do some advocacy work, and I've seen, younger adults testify as well. And it is so powerful. And legislators, decision makers are really open to listening to youth voices. And also, the idea that there should be a day that is recognizing the needs of children's environmental health. It's actually a pretty popular idea. And so so I encourage folks listening that Children's Environmental Health Day Proclamation is a great way to start a conversation with your elected officials, with decision makers in your, city, state, even you could just let your federal elected officials know about it as well. That it's a popular idea, it's well received, and it's a great way to start that conversation about the needs of kids when it comes to environmental health protections. And so, Children's Environmental Health Day is an incredible time to share resources, celebrate children's environmental health successes, and chart a course forward. So what can folks do to act on initiatives to improve children's environmental health all year round?
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. That is such a great way to start that conversation, one that can potentially be challenging or robust. I like that. So we do encourage people to approach CEH Day action with the understanding that it's more than a day, it is a movement. So putting children at the center of decision making year round is of utmost importance and does benefit all of us. And we found that proclamations are, while they're a great place to start that conversation, they're most valuable when they're accompanied by a specific request for action or relevant local concern. So you can then follow up on these actions or concerns throughout the year and reference the public declaration of support from your decision maker for children's health.
Yep. Yeah, that's fantastic. And like you said, I mean, such a great way to start that conversation and continue it, right? That's what we want everybody listening to do, is start the conversation. Use that second Thursday of every October to start that conversation and continue it year round. And maybe even, set yourself a multi-year Children's Environmental Health Day goal that you can have sort of like, look every year what you want to do, because you can get engaged every year. And so I just want to thank you, Hannah, for this discussion. Thank you, Children's Environmental Health Network, for your leadership and for all the ways that people can plug in during Children's Environmental Health Day and throughout the year. So to all of our listeners, let's continue the conversation. Get involved in Children's Environmental Health Day. Engage with us online using the hashtag Let's Talk Climate and the hashtag CEH Day. And be sure to subscribe and follow us on our social channels for the latest thought leadership, resources, and episodes on climate action and advocacy. From all of us at ecoAmerica and Climate for Health, thank you. Please join me in caring for our climate in order to care for our health. Stay well, stay safe, get active, and happy Children's Environmental Health Day.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Happy Children's Environmental Health Day.
Thanks, Hannah.